In the world of football, few things capture the imagination like the emergence of a young prodigy. In 2005, the footballing world was dazzled by the performances of one such rising star, John Mikel Obi. A Nigerian midfielder with sublime technical ability, his standout performances at the FIFA Under-20 World Cup in the Netherlands catapulted him into global spotlight. He was graceful, composed, and visionary, leading Nigeria to the final against a star-studded Argentina side featuring a certain Lionel Messi. Mikel's brilliance did not go unnoticed as he won the silver ball, second only to Messi, who took home the golden ball. At that point, many believed that John Mikel Obi was destined to be football's next creative genius, a player who could rival Messi's trajectory. But as we now know, that's not how the story unfolded. Following his exploit at the Under-20 World Cup, Mikel became the center of one of the most dramatic transfer sagas in football history. In 2005, Manchester United announced that they had signed the Nigerian prodigy, unveiling him in a United shirt. But shortly after, Chelsea claimed they had an agreement with the player and his agent, leading to a bitter legal dispute between two of the world's biggest clubs. For months, the transfer battle dominated headlines, overshadowing Mikel's footballing development. Ultimately, Chelsea won the legal fight, compensating Manchester United and Mikel's Norwegian club, Lyn Oslo, for his services. The entire episode added to the mystique around the player. After all, if two footballing giants were willing to go to war over him, surely Mikel was destined for superstardom, right? But as the dust settled, so too did expectations of Mikel becoming a creative force. Simply put, Chelsea had other plans. When John Obi Mikel arrived at Chelsea in 2006, the club was in the middle of the Jose Mourinho era, a time defined by tactical discipline, defensive solidity, and pragmatism. Mourinho was known for shaping players to fit his system, and Mikel was no exception. Initially an attacking midfielder with a natural inclination to drive forward, Mikel was quickly converted into a defensive midfielder. The transformation was stark. Gone were the flashes of creativity that had defined Mikel at youth level. Instead, he became the anchor man, sitting deep in front of the defense, breaking up play and offering stability. While he excelled in this role, the shift marked a major deviation from what many had expected. To the casual observer, it seemed like a waste of talent. Here was a player who had been hailed as the next great playmaker, yet he was now doing the dirty work in midfield. The world had expected Mikel to be Chelsea's answer to the likes of Zinedine Zidane or Kaká, but instead he became their Cloud Makalele, which to be honest should be a compliment to most any player, except people expected more from him. Such was Mikel's talent. Meanwhile, Lionel Messi, Mikel's counterpart from the Under-20 World Cup final, was rapidly becoming the face of football's new generation. At Barcelona, a football revolution was brewing and Messi was the heart of it. Messi's genius was nurtured and he flourished into one of the greatest players the game has ever seen. He became the focal point of a free-flowing Barcelona side, breaking records and redefining what was possible on a football pitch. Mikel, in contrast, was asked to suppress the very instinct that had made him such a thrilling prospect. He traded the spotlight for the role of a team player, quietly performing the tasks that often go unnoticed. Over time, the fans grew to appreciate Mikel's contribution as a deep-line midfielder, but the excitement that had surrounded him in 2005 never quite materialized. And this is where the comparison with Messi becomes almost unfair. Messi was allowed to thrive in a system designed to bring out his attacking brilliance. Mikel, on the other hand, had to adapt to a system that valued control and discipline over creativity. It is not that Mikel lacked the talent to become one of the world's best attacking midfielders, but rather that his career took him in a completely different direction. Looking back at Mikel's career, it is fascinating to imagine what might have been had Mikel's career taken a different trajectory. Some of these questions never leave my mind. Had he joined Manchester United, would Sir Alex Ferguson have allowed him to play further forward? Would he have been able to express himself more creatively? Could Mikel have become a Ballon d'Or contender, standing shoulder to shoulder with the likes of Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo? Maybe if Chelsea had nurtured his attacking talents rather than reshaping him into a defensive midfielder, would we be talking about Mikel as one of the Premier League's all-time great playmakers? I guess we'll never know. In many ways, Mikel Obi's career serves as a reminder of how much a player's environment can shape their legacy. He undoubtedly achieved great things, winning multiple Premier League titles, an FA Cup, a Champions League trophy, and an African Cup of Nations title. But for those familiar with his early years, there's always the lingering question, what if?